The Chinese book collector Deng Yuanhui, who published a collection of Huang Longshi's games in the 19th century, praised him like this, and I quote, "Huang Longshi used his mind most meticulously. He sought to enter the deepest apertures, and when there was a critical matter of life and death, and when the crowd was helpless and at their wits' end, he was exerting a subtle influence, seeing more and more skillful ideas and magical effects. The air would suddenly change, and from death, he would re-enter life." One more thing that Huang Longshi was really good at is saving his own stones if he really had to. And I will show you a couple of examples from his games of how he did that. In the first game, Huang Longshi is playing white against his eternal rival, Zhou Donghe. And at this point, black just played here to attack the two stones on the top. And the computer here thinks that white has so much advantage, maybe 30 points of advantage in this game, that white doesn't really need to save these stones at all. Let's see. White has a very strong position at the bottom. White has a living group here and a very strong center. The entire black group in the center is not settled yet. And this stone here, it seems like it's inside white's moyo. So if at this point white simply covers like this, and this is a computer suggestion, then black finds it very difficult to respond to this. If black simply takes the corner by playing here or here to save this stone, then white could respond, and they would play this joseki, which is a modern joseki. They would play something else probably. And after something like this, let's say black takes the corner, and after white extends here, now black has a lot of trouble saving the entire center. And if we go back, and if black helps the center first by playing something like this, then of course white can kick, and it will be difficult for black to manage this stone. Now white can attack both this group in the center and the two stones. But in the game, Huang Longshi decided that he could actually save those two stones. And he did. So in the game, white plays this exchange first. Black has to connect. And white escapes. Black presses, trying to keep white inside. And it seems that the entire variation that is about to follow now was read out by Huang Longshi before any of this happened, obviously. White jumps. Black covers, trying to, again, keep white inside. Black makes this exchange, and again, white doesn't really have to connect. White could simply jump and save some of the stones and sacrifice those three. But Huang Longshi connects here. He wants to save everything. Now black has to block. And a cut. Black can't really give up those two stones. If black plays this Atari and white captures, black still needs to take care of this cutting point. So black connects. White makes some exchanges first. And now white is all locked inside, and it's obvious that white can't make two eyes there. But black has so many weaknesses on the outside. So white cuts first. And when black takes a stone, Atari. And one more Atari. And now these stones are separated. And now before saving a single white stone inside, white has another skillful Tsuji he can play to gain some useful sente moves on the inside. Do you think you can find it? In the game, white played this phenomenal attachment. And it's very difficult to respond to, because if black simply captures the stone, then white will connect like this, and white has just too much eye space, and white still threatens to save the stone. So in the game, black cut it off like this. But now, white gets this move in sente. Black descends to make it easier to reduce liberties in the future. And now finally, white saves this stone. And now these cornerstones are not alive yet. So it's going to be a capturing race between these two groups. Black makes this exchange first. And now, have you noticed what the problem is here? Black can't even fight this capturing race properly because the second black group is also separated and it doesn't have two eyes. So black needs to play a move here. And if black doesn't, if black plays, for example, here to fight this capturing race, then white can immediately attack this black group. White can push here. And now here. Black tries to connect, and there is a possible ko here. White connects. Surely black doesn't want to connect here because this will reduce black's liberty too much. So black tries to take the ko. Now this exchange, threatening to capture the 4 stones. Black connects. White takes the ko. Black doesn't have any ko threats that are big enough, so black needs to connect. Now this. And black here is really short on liberties. Black loses this capturing race, and the entire black group would die. Of course, none of this happened. So black needs to respond. And if at this point white simply connects, then black can make an eye, and this black group is alive. But instead of this connection, white has a better move. White can play this Atari, which makes the white group on the top stronger, and this is still sente against the black group, because if black doesn't respond, and if black plays here, for example, then white can push here. And now if black captures, white can push here, or white can immediately play this wedge into Suji, and some of black's stones will die, and white will connect everything, saving all of his stones. So black still needs to go back and add another move just to make sure that this entire group will live. Black captures. Now white invades the corner, which will help reduce black's liberties. Black has to cut it off. And this move is sente. Black takes. And finally, after all these exchanges, white plays here, and white now has an eye. This eye cannot be destroyed. And black has an eye in the corner. So black plays here. And like this, black has an eye. And since both black and white have an eye, this is going to be seki. Now, white captured the stone to clear up all the aji, and white got exactly what he wanted. Now, those stones are alive in seki. This next game is probably my favorite example of Huang Longshi demonstrating his survival skills. And when I first saw this game, maybe 12 or 13 years ago, we didn't have very strong computers at the time, so I had to analyze the game myself and admire the pure skill that Huang Longshi had. Now it's different. Now we have strong AI, and it can tell you exactly where Huang Longshi or his opponent made mistakes, and where his opponent could have killed him probably. So it's a little bit like when someone shows you a great magic trick, and it just pains you that you don't know how it's done. And of course you don't believe in magic, but you know that somewhere deep inside of you, because you can't explain it, it just really looks like magic. And then once you know the secret, it becomes quite disappointing because the secret is always very practical and all the magic is gone. So I want to show you this example without giving you too much commentary, just to try and let you feel and see this game the way I saw this many years ago. In this game, Huang Longshi is playing black, and he's not doing very well at the moment. Those 2 black stones are almost dead, and this seems to be a white moyo. So if black simply makes a move somewhere here, and lets white close this moyo, then white will probably win this game. So instead of this, black decides to try and save those 2 stones, believe it or not.
By the way, you can also watch these lessons on our platform, gomagic.org. Except there, you'll watch them with interactive quizzes right within the lessons and practical exercises right after them. And if you enjoy watching these Go videos and you don't want to miss others like this one, go smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is Go Magic.